Why, hello there, fellow Folktales. Roddermon here. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn 1.0. Episode 9, Irrigating Most of the Map. Oh yeah, there we go. As you can see, we've pushed all the nasty water out. So if it can get these floodgates up, we can actually have this feed this. If we're feeding this, we're also probably going to want something like, something like that. The reason, and there's a reason I'm building it here and not the end, because eventually we're going to want bad water for explosives, and if I built this right at the edge, it'd be harder to tap the bad water for explosives. So there's a functional reason why I'm setting it up like this. In fact, I'm even going to do it like that. It's weird, but makes sense to me. It's so that my bad water pumps can be built here when I need to have them. Alright, come on, floodgates. So this floodgate is 8 planks away, and then we have 1 floodgate left. You know what? I'm going to say the observatory is the highest priority, because this is like a fun to have, and the other project is like a kind of must. So I'll go with the must first. Which doesn't really stop them from running materials out of here, but they're just running logs. Not planks. So yeah, all the logs have been set up there. Another bad tide in 3 days. Got it. Well, this project matters a whole lot less if there's a bad tide coming, because this whole thing is going to fill with bad tide water. So I'm just going to pause it, because it's no longer going to really help me at all. The only time this would help me is if this was built first, so I could fill this river up with the clean water here, right? But like, I can't keep the clean water here because I don't have this built at the moment. So forget about that. And I'll start filling up the watering hole again. Now, it's unfortunate I only have like a few days of observatory time. Like maybe even just the one. But we're almost at wind turbine science. So it's okay. This will obviously serve a purpose later on. Six more plants, 7 more gears. Does not look like very much has been fed to the power shaft, but that's fine. Oh, let's also not feed anything left anymore. So one of the reasons why I'm going to completely lower this floodgate is I don't want any built-up water here. Because built-up water, in fact... No, I guess this is fine. I don't want any built-up water here because the bad water, when it comes in, will start filling this void right when it starts to flow, and I don't want it overflowing. I want it flowing left. So there's a reason not to aquifer anything here. Because it's, first, going to be polluted almost immediately, and second, any contained water in this area could help the bad tide flow improperly, which is bad. Like, obviously, we don't want that. What is with this flood? At least it's not stopping any of the, like, workplaces, oddly. There it goes. It's starting to evaporate. So 1 day until the next bad tide. And I think our watering hole is probably just about filled up, so I'm going to pull the floodgates up again. Yeah, oh, perfect timing. It just maxed capacity. All right. It's funny that they're working on this here now. I might put this as, like, super low priority as well. It does not matter. It's a cosmetic project at this point. $200 more science, or 150, 149 more science, and we'll be able to unlock the wind turbines. And then I'll obviously put effort into getting the paper mill up and running. But some of the raised platform planks are getting built, which is interesting, because I guess that's all that the priority is left. And this stuff's getting built because it's just logs, and our builders have, like, nothing better to do. Alright. Let's connect this power wheel to something. One more gear. That's what we were waiting on. Oof. And I think we probably have enough contained water. I'm not going to, like, mess with the floodgates. I'm just going to stop the bad water from flowing where it ought not to. So, boom. 3. Bad tide started. We stopped all the bad tide water from coming into our main river. It's by obviously being diverted left. And it will overflow just the same way the last one did, because I don't have the TNT to, like, get rid of that area. Not a big deal. Alright, power wheel's got to turn on. Does the water wheels affect the flow of the river? No. They just benefit. They flow at the same speed, but it doesn't, like, slow it down. Okay, I'm about to get that final gear. But at this point, like, the observatory is not really going to serve a purpose until we have a source of power for it, so I'm going to keep it paused. Because we don't have the horsepower to run it. But it's built! Counts for something. Alright, we need 4 more science for wind turbines. Oh god, you should not be doing that. Pause, 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 pause. I did not see, well, I'm glad, I just noticed. I didn't see that the bad tide water had, like, overtaken the floodgate area. And you do not want to stand in it. And in fact, I didn't catch it in time, so G-Jill here is now sick. It's probably useful to show you this mechanic. This beaver spent too much time in contaminated water. It's fine for now, but will get sick in a few days. So, if you spend too much time in the water, you become essentially contaminated. You become contaminated enough that your portrait will functionally change. It gives you, like, cancer rabies or something. So yeah, you definitely do not want to be in contaminated water for very long. There is a cure, but the cure is a lot of processing required. A lot of forestry and medicine and extracts and all that. So basically, don't mess with it until you have the means to cure it. Because until you have the means to cure it, running an herbalist for the cure, which requires paper, dandelions, berries, time, you know, and then the recovery period for the beavers are also really long, and it takes them out of the work pool. It's really, really, really bad. In other words, you just don't. All right, so we have the means to get the wind turbine unlocked. Boom. And the way these work is they're just like a gear. And what we might end up doing is like putting them up here, elevated. I think that would be a neat thing to do. So like have a wind turbine here and a wind turbine like here, you know, something like that, because we already have the power wheels. And this spaces them out. So that's probably what I'll do. And because these power shafts are so dang cheap, I can delete one for a log. But yep, that's the large wind turbine. And we can incorporate it into our like power shaft. That was sort of the idea that I had. But to build any of it, obviously we're going to need the paper mills. The paper mill is now the highest priority, and it just needs some planks. And because it only needs planks, the wind turbines need gears, so I'm also going to need to run gears. One thing I might do is, at least for now as a stopgap measure, yet another power wheel. So this is going to be the highest priority project at this point. So power wheel at super high, and then this at high, and then the rest at low. And this bad tide is only like a week. It's, I mean, been there, done that, no big deal. The longest drought we've dealt with, now that we have the means to divert bad tides are really not that different from droughts. It's just how long are we going to lack fresh water? And 1 week, we've already done 12 days, so like 7 or 8 days is not a big deal. Been there, done that, passed it flying colors. Does running a windmill turn a water wheel? No. So the water wheels, I mean, they act as just a power shaft when they're not actively moving. So you won't need to spend power to turn a water wheel, but they will transfer the power through the wheel. If that makes sense. So it's no problem to have water wheels act as axles and have wind turbines act as axles. Even when there's no wind, a wind turbine will still transfer power through it. Basically, all buildings that use power transfer power through it. Think of power as, rather than like mechanical logs turning, think of it as electricity. Where like, just because one room is turned off doesn't mean the power stops. It keeps running through it. It's not like Christmas lights where one bulb blows and you're like, oh, well, there goes the whole thing. Like, that's fortunately not how this works. 2 more planks. Builder's hut is unstaffed. I'm just going to pause it. In fact, I don't need this flag ever again. Now, once we fully divert the bad tide, I can start planting dandelions here for the purpose of like medicine. That's a forestry thing, planting dandelions. And I can plant it here for the purpose of medicine once this is fully resolved. But like, I'd rather not have to use medicine. Like, it's better just to not get sick in the first place than to like have a contingency for when you're sick. But there we go. We've got the paper mill. Awesome. So now that we have the paper mill, we obviously aren't producing enough horsepower to reasonably keep this thing's running. I could do another power wheel, like one more power wheel. I don't want to just keep like solving all my problems with power wheels. Obviously, I'm going to transfer over to wind as soon as I'm capable. But for now, I'll just do one more power wheel just to keep up with the horsepower. And in terms of priority, we'll go with the stuff closest to a power network as high priority or low priority, and the other stuff is lowest. Because I don't really need the stuff over here built until this stuff's built. All of it will eventually serve the gravity battery. But the thing about the gravity battery is the gravity battery isn't going to be useful to us until we can start processing metals. So before we do even gravity battery stuff, we're going to need the scavenger flag and the smelter, which is going to be 550 research first. Not a big deal, but yeah. So on hard mode, you should really just build water wheels in the bad rivers. Yeah, if it's convenient. Or not rely on water power in the long run at all. How much space is needed between windmills? 2. They're 1 wide at the base, but they're 3 wide at the top. So you need to space them out accordingly. Because the top sections can't collide. Can I show the ill beaver? Nope, because he's not sick anymore. If he was, there'd be an alert in the bottom left of the screen. I caught it before they became fully contaminated. They never got fully contaminated. I saw the issue and solved it too quickly. All right, I've got... Oh, you know, one thing I don't have? I don't have a paper warehouse. I've just been using these mini warehouses because I don't really care about, like, volume. But yeah, let's get a paper warehouse up in here. Or storage. So we almost have enough paper. We have 2/3 of the amount of paper we need for this wind turbine. I'm going to high priority this stuff now. With like one of the warehouses, so we can start to get wind going, because that sounds good to me. So how close are we? We are half the gears, 1/3 of the planks, 2/3 of the paper. It's a process, but for each additional wind turbine we add, it gets a lot easier, because soon I'll be able to divert workforce away from running on wheels to workforce making more planks, more gears, more paper, etc. All warehouses are a single item, more or less. Like farmhouses, for instance, can contain a variety, like a small quantity of all. They act as like a catch-all, right? But designated warehouses are just a singular resource, so it's like logs and logs only, or whatever. And in there's there's technically 3 types of warehouses. Or 4, I guess. But let's say 3. There's the large piles, or there's the piles, and the piles can be wood or metal or dirt. There's the regular warehouses, which are the non-liquids that aren't wood, metal, or dirt, and then the liquid, which is for liquids. What happened to the water that was up here? Shouldn't there be water here? It wouldn't have evaporated that quickly, no. I'm really not sure what happened to it. Because the reason why it wouldn't evaporate is it's not going to evaporate from here any faster than it would evaporate from here, because they're both 1 deep. So if my main river has water, which it has like 50% water, this should have 50% water. I'm not really sure where it went. That's, like, honestly super strange. And I don't care. It's not going to, like, kill me or anything. But it's just odd that it's not there, because it should be. Mishandled floodgate? I don't think I didn't change this floodgate. Maybe. Someone with the benefit of, like, watching the VODs or whatever, the YouTube video, will, like, be able to tell me what I did wrong. But I'm not really sure why there isn't any water there. It's kind of odd. That was acting strange like before? Yeah, I don't know. It should have water. Because I had it up at 0.95, so it should have had 95% of its water full. And it takes like 20 days or 19 days to evaporate 95% water. I believe it's 5% per day if you're not pumping it. I think it's a tile of water can last 20 days if you're not using it. So the fact that it's like not there is super strange, but whatever. Again, inconsequential. Just, I thought it was odd. All right, I'm going to pause one of my researchers because I have literally no builders. And then let's go ahead and unlock grab. Oh, actually, I don't want grab battery. What I want is scav flag. And we'll stick a scavenger flag here. I'm putting it here because they'll be able to scavenge the ruins, but being elevated like this will keep them from their flag being flooded constantly. And then after we get the scavenger flag, we're going to get the metal smelter. 1 tile equals 20 days estimated changed when they updated irrigation last time. Yeah. Whatever it is, case point, my main river and this area should evaporate at the same rate. So the fact that there's no water here makes no sense, but something went weird and whatever. Weird is ain't gonna kill me. I'm gonna furlough even more researchers because, like, I really want the building project done, and we're getting pretty close to having all the materials needed, as you can see. So I was getting impatient. Okay, cool. So now it's just waiting on paper, and one of the big reasons was our paper mill couldn't actually make paper because there was nowhere to put it. So I'm really hoping that they build a small warehouse. I could pause everything else and, like, force them, but whatever. They'll get it done. The top palm wasn't as high as the low. Alright, whatever. I guess that's the case. I'll just have to be careful next time, making sure that it tops up. I think what I'll do is, as soon as I get all the gears for the large wind turbine, I will pause the gear workshop so that we're only making planks. Because paper is just wood to paper. It doesn't use planks. And that way we can start benefiting from the turbine. There's the gear. Pause. And then all the paper that we make from here on out can be more large wind turbines. So the scavenger flag is up and running. And let's go ahead and build a large pile here for scrap metal. All right, final day of bad tide. And our little Folkfalls weathered it fine. Another thing we could do is, once the power's gone over this road, vertical shaft it back down to the usable level. So I can start to build industry on the other side. Like more lumber mills or metal workshop, etc. Because one of the things I was going to do is we have scrap metal here, and what I can do is just processed metal here. And then to build the metal workshop like right there. Oh, that's interesting. I know it's because the level of the water has just gone down by 1, and it was like kind of creating waves. But the irrigation waves looked sinusoidal or something. That was interesting. Okay, we're 2 planks away from this being done. Sweet. Once this section of bad water has flushed, I'll lower this. There we go. I'll lower it all the way. Actually, I'll do 0.95 now that it's flushed. Because I just didn't want the bad water to, like, have any washback. And let's fill up our water hole as well. So I'm going to raise this up to 1. Which means, well, actually, let's get rid of all the power wheels. And then turn on the observatory finally. Pause all the inventors. And unpause the builder hut. Okay, there's no leftover builders for the builder hut. So we are on observatory time. We have our water wheels producing plenty of horsepower, and this thing is going to churn out science like nobody's business. So the regular ones were 1 hour for 1 science. This is 0.75 hours for 10 science. It is more than a full order of magnitude better. Well, obviously it requires 4 employees, so it's like half an order of magnitude better then, roughly. Give or take. And there is the large wind turbine, which is currently outputting 269 horse. Not too shabby, but, you know, again, it's not reliable, so it's going to go up and down, up and down. And let's also get the smelter. So the smelter is going to allow us to turn the scrap metal into real metal that we can use. And I'll just stick it right there. Now this thing requires planks, gears, and scrap metal to build. I'm going to unpause my my gear workshop. And we are still going to want to build this like gravity battery path. There's just a lot of big projects. The other thing I could do is to, if the next event is a drought, it's going to be worth building these floodgates. But if and only if it's a drought. So once these are built, I can start filling up this aquifer again. But it's only going to be worthwhile if it's drought. And then also unpause this stuff too. Now it's not like in dead man's land. Get that built too. So the current priority is build gravity, build metal smelting, and gravity batteries. And being less reliant on water wheels is going to be terrific. So what are my priorities looking like? I'll put this to normal, and this to high. I could probably handle more beavers, I just don't want them. I'll add them when I want them. Oop, Jesus. Little bit of a flood. Wasn't paying attention, or a water hole. It's gonna self-correct. Luckily, evaporation's the thing. So this needs 7 planks, and then this needs 2 planks, 5 planks, 8 planks, and then some logs. We have a lot of things competing for planks. I think I'm going to temporarily pause the gear workshop, knowing that it will stop our smelter briefly, in lieu of getting some of the floodgates that I have set up built. Come on, evaporation. Happen faster. But yeah, you can see my science is like just flying up now. So, gravity batteries, you're going to get got. Boom. And the plan is to build gravity batteries. I'll probably have to build some like levees while I'm up here so they overhang on the highest distance. But building a staircase up here and then setting up gravity batteries. There's no point in doing that until the power shaft is all the way built, though. So it's going to have to wait. There we go. Okay. We're back in business. No longer super flooded. This is set up. Okay, so now that that is set up, let's prep for the potential for a long-term drought, meaning flushing this bad water out of the system. So this is set to 3, and this is set to 1.7, and that means the bad water here doesn't flow northward, but this water will flow southward. And eventually it will clean out this entire supply of water, making it clean and potable and good for irrigation or whatever. And then once all of this water is clean, I can let some out of this floodgate so that it splits between here and there. So that this floodgate and this area fills with water, because now I have the means to contain the water up to 95% or full or whatever, so that I can irrigate this area if I wanted to. And yeah, you can see that this is slowly cleaning up over time as a result of those efforts. All right, we have some unemployed. You're builders now. Congrats. We also have like hella paper, so I'm going to pause my paper workshop for now. And actually, I'm going to get rid of. No, I kind of regret that. What I wanted to do is to get like another lumber mill in, but I'm gonna put that back because the infrastructure for the metal's right there, so I don't want to move that. Luckily, if it's not fully built, it just gets refunded. It's not a big deal. So now the push is for the metal smelter and the gravity battery. I think I'm going to create a shorter path up here so that that upper section is not so dang inaccessible. And then, let's see, how do we get up there? So obviously the gravity batteries are going to be most bang from a buck when they have a giant vertical drop, because that's the way they work. So, there. Oops. This gives us access to the mountaintop, where I can start to engineer the gravity battery section. And then, likewise, all of this is going to be like lowest priority, because it does not matter until those planks and shafts are done. Which means that this will become low priority to be done before. All right. Nice and laid out. Okay, taking a look at this setup now. If we raise this up to... So all of this is obviously clean water, right? If we lower this a little bit, so this is at 0.17, so we'll do this at 0.1 or 2. 0.65, it will start to divert clean water here to fill this up. This is still high enough to keep all bad water out of this section, but now this is low enough to allow clean water into where we want it. And as long as I control the bad tides well by changing these floodgate setups, we can keep this area perpetually irrigated and suitable for forestry. Because it's really of no consequence and our forester is currently idle, I'm going to plant like a whole bunch of dandelions for no good reason. There's no reason not to, I would argue. And then also put blueberries over here as well. Maybe a few more blueberries to dandelions. And this is for like the potential of making medicine. And if it dies, it dies. I don't really care. I'm not using it. It's not mission critical. It's just something that the forester can do. But yeah, the other advantage of this massive wall of water, let's raise this up to 0.95, and this is going to be 0.9, this is a lot of water being stored in case of a drought. So if the next event is a bad tide, I'll lower this water gate and get ready for bad tide water. But if it's a drought, I'll have tons of water stored back here for drought preparedness. So it kind of doubles as both. There we go. So there's no flow back, but there is irrigation. And yeah, I mean, like, half the map is green now. And with a little bit of TNT, we can get basically the whole map green, because I'll be able to irrigate this river eventually. That's not the next project, but like a future project. Okay. We have a lot of science. Drought! Okay, cool. So I'm set up for droughts. Have I set the floodgates by the plantation? Here? Yeah, they're set up, 0.95. I do have 0 water, you're right. I think that's because I had an extended flood in this area. But let's go ahead and get another water pump to be able to fill up the tanks. No one's thirsty at the moment, but obviously I can't sit at 0 water and be comfortable with that. So, good catch. So, with the next project, a drought, it means I'm going to have no, like, power anywhere. The other thing I could do is to make an effort to add a little bit more wind power. Now, wind power is variable, as I said, which makes it far less reliable for drought conditions. But it's going to be certainly better than nothing, I think. Yeah, and I'm not touching this floodgate. It's at 95%. This one's at 100%. And we can just keep it that way. So, it shouldn't mess up, but, you know, who knows. I have a lot of spare builders. And the forester, he stopped. He still has access to these zones. And we'll see how long this drought is. Now that we're preparing for the drought, I'm going to raise this up to 100 just to top up our watering hole a little bit more, so that we have greater volume of water ready for drought. In fact, I can raise this up to 2. And we'll have even more water back here. It will take a minute for the flow to continue. But we'll have even... Oh, no, I can't do 2 because that's only 1 high. No, it has to be 1. Never mind. I take it back. Whoa! Setting up to 2 caused a flood of its own from the other side. I might need to cut off water to the west to be able to fill up my my drinking hole. Because there's not enough, there's just not enough volume of water to do both. West, east, and south. Which is fine. But that drinking hole is obviously a high priority. 'Tis needs to fill. And hopefully this time I won't, like, flood my everything. Because that was not great. Okay. Our watering hole is just about topped up. All the locks are topped up. The west I stopped filling. I can start filling it again, I guess. Doesn't hurt. And I'm going to high priority the smelter. We're only waiting on 10 gears. And the other high priority is going to be this section for a second windmill. We'll do this on high, but not highest. And then right before the drought, I'm also going to push more water over to the watering hole. Because it might be a really lengthy drought. And I want to be overly prepared. Because I can't make water out of nothing. Here we go. Last push. Topping it up. And I timed it well. No, it's only 9-day drought. Okay. No biggie. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn 1.0, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Beavers.